Okay, so I'm working on a 2006 Honda Odyssey, and I'm working on taking the MICU or fuse box out. So the symptom I've been having is that the door locks won't lock. When you hit the automatic door locks, that door, the passenger side locks don't lock. In fact, the only one that will lock is this driver's side sliding door. That is the only one that locks with the automatic door locks. The back doesn't lock, neither of the front doors lock. And where this becomes a problem is the back door especially doesn't have a key to lock the door. So you have to open up the back door and pull a little panel off and turn a little switch to lock that back door if you want to secure the van at all. You can lock the other doors manually. Anyway, I took it apart the other day to see if anything looked wrong. I took the circuit board out and it didn't look bad. I put it all back in and it amazingly worked for a couple days. So now you can't buy one of these anymore from Honda, apparently. So I've got one from a wrecking yard I'm going to put in. So I'm going to show the difficult parts. It took me a long time to take this out the other day, but now it should come out a lot easier and I'll show you the tricks. Okay, so I've got the old unit out of the vehicle. Here's the new one from the wrecking yard, and I just wanted to go through how to take some of the difficult switches or connections off. When you're in the vehicle, it's hard, and it's kind of hard when you're out of the vehicle too. This one was very sticky. They all have a button on the top or the bottom. This one was not easy, so I had to get a pliers. If you have a pliers like this, that's helpful. And pinch that down and see if I can wiggle it out. This particular one from the wrecking yard is difficult. The other ones are a little easier. Push with your finger, take them out. Push with your finger, take them out. These have a clip that you push in here, then it undoes this and the whole thing should come out. It unlocks and lifts. So push, unlock, lift, out. This one has just a clip. This is the most difficult one to figure out. It's spring-loaded, so you have to push it down a little bit. Take a screwdriver, you could maybe do it with your fingers, and pry up a little bit until that whole thing, that snap, spring-loaded, and grab that and wiggle it off. So that's how that works. And it's kind of difficult to do in the vehicle, so it snaps right back in, so you can push it down and pull it off. If you don't know how to take this one off, it can be extremely frustrating. The other one that's difficult is this. These are not part of the unit, but they're locked onto the top here, and I really haven't figured out how to do it without breaking them. You can take a very tiny screwdriver and stick it in there, or stick it in the back, and then these slide off forward, and what you're doing is you're basically pushing that clip down, and I don't think it can be done really without breaking that, but these then can be slid back on there afterwards. And then once you take this bolt off and this bolt off, inside this whole unit can swing down and you can access the back and take these off one at a time, which can also be challenging. You have to push the pin down and pull these out. You may need a little tool or screwdriver to do that, and just keep working them one at a time to see if you can get them out. And I haven't taken these off, so they might be kind of stuck, but they just come off. So you got to just work one at a time, either with a finger or a screwdriver. So, and in the vehicle, this is challenging. You might have to just do it by feel as you push those buttons down and wiggle. And they, you know, they haven't been out of the vehicle for ever, so they might be very difficult to take out. Let's see if I can get this one out. It's kind of like that one on the front, but it's difficult. So they take some effort, and you just have to work them one at a time. Maybe carefully pry, you don't want to break them. Obviously, I'm not very good at that one. We'll come back to that one. Let's do this one. I'm being not too careful with these because they're the old ones for the wrecking yard, so you do want to be careful with yours that you're going to plug back in, not to hurt them. And just go slow. See if you can wiggle them out. And then the side ones are a challenge because you have to reach around while it's in the car. You really don't have any visibility here. You have to reach around and push this button. So there's a button on the back side of that. And once you push it, those units will come out. So that's has to be done in the car by feel as you can reach around. So that's it. That's all the different connections to this unit. So I'm gonna swap this out and see if it works. Okay, so I got the new one in. That's the old one sitting on the floor there. The new one is in there and it works. When I plugged it in and connect to the battery again, the horn went off and didn't stop going off until I hit the unlock button on my key. So that worried me a little bit, but then it reset. Don't have to reprogram anything, don't have to do anything magical. It's just swap a new one in and the locks work now. Everything locks and unlocks like it's supposed to. So we'll see if that lasts. A few things to note on here. So there's 2 bolts on this thing. There's one down here on the bottom. You can see it right there. 10mm bolts. So there's another one up behind there. It goes to this bracket here. You can see right there. It's this one. That's a tricky one to get to up there. You have to disconnect all this and then get a socket on extension up in there. There's a little clippy here you can disconnect. It's up in there. To take this apart, you have to pop off this floor trim. You just pop it and it pops out. There's 2 clips. And then you have to pop this out. And this also just pops out. You apply some pressure to it and it comes back and disconnects. Goes like that actually. So it's on the little clip. You can see there's little mounting clips here and you pull back and it comes out. The first time I took this out, I did take my front seat out. You pop these forward, these little plastic units off the front, and you pop this one off the back. Get the seat forward, you can see it better. This unit here, just pull it and it pops off. And then there's bolts. You want to pull the lower bolts. They're 14mm bolts down here and down here, not the upper bolts with the little splined connector on them. Not a connector. Anyway, there's another 14mm bolt here and another 14mm there. Taking that seat out really gives you the ability to lay down and see back up there and work better. So if this is your first time swapping this out, I would recommend taking the seat out. It's not too hard. That's it. Hope everything works out for you. If you're having the same problem as I did with the locks unlocking but not locking, that's what happened. The symptom of this was locks would not lock with the door lock button or your key. Only this door would work. And everything would unlock, but it wouldn't lock. Okay, that's it. Bye.